I really gotta decorate this room. Moved in a few weeks ago. Still working on it. Anyways, what's up everybody? My name is Nate Killian and welcome back to my channel. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that. What's up everybody? My name is Nate Killian and in this video I'm going to be giving you a few tips and tricks on how you can make a short film or a skit by yourself with no cast and no crew. Of course, you can still apply a lot of these tips and tricks when you do have a cast or a crew. I'm going to be talking about story and equipment. Maybe you don't have all the best equipment, that's okay. I'm just going to talk about what you need. And if you are looking to spend a little more money, I'm going to be talking about some equipment that would be helpful to have. Also, I apologize in advance for any terrible audio. They're doing construction right outside my window. Perfect timing. So first I'm going to talk about what you need to make a short film or a skit in the first place, your story. My first tip about story is to embrace constraints and keep it simple. Constraints actually create avenues for creativity. Making a film or a skit by yourself is already difficult enough without a cast or a crew of extra hands to help you out. So try to keep your story simple and make sure that you're actually capable of telling the story that you're trying to tell. Now, people don't always love keeping it simple, but these constraints can actually lead to more creative stories that you can tell by yourself. Complexity does not always equal creativity. Sometimes the most simple stories and the most simple shots are the most effective and creative ways to tell a story. For example, I wanted to make a short film while I was in quarantine, but I didn't have anyone to act with me. So this constraint actually led to me thinking, how can I tell a story that involves another character with using what I have? And this led me to making a short film about my Google Home, thus casting my Google Home in the film. And this was an idea that was just born out of the constraint of not being able to have a cast. I'm going to attach the link to the film, but if you watch it, you'll actually notice that I was able to put this entire short film together by myself, all while telling a fun story that was rather simple. Now we're moving on to equipment, the things that you need. The first thing you need is obviously a camera. You do need a camera. If you have one, that's great. If you don't, pretty much every iPhone or Android now has a really high quality camera and you can absolutely use your phone. The second thing you're going to need is a tripod or a GorillaPod. These are going to allow you to place and position your camera wherever you want them to be. I personally love using my GorillaPod because it allows me to put my camera wherever and position it however I want. Moving on to lighting. You're going to need good lighting to film this. If you can film in a bright area, maybe a room with some natural sunlight coming through the windows, that's great. But if you want to control the light a little more, you may want to invest in a light. For example, I bought this really simple ring light off of Amazon. It was probably around $100 and it does the trick for when I'm filming. Now, if you want to get lights but you don't really want to spend more than $50, you can always go to Home Depot or Lowe's and get some work lights as well. I've used those in the past to light scenes and I didn't spend more than $30. Now, if you do have lights, just remember that you are filming this alone. So when I'm filming, I really only try to pick shots that require me to use one light. This is easier for me on setup and breakdown, and it allows me to get more creative with my shots as well. Overall though, if you don't have lights that you can use and you don't want to buy any, I recommend filming in a room with windows where you can get some natural light. Next is audio. Audio is super important, and you want to make sure that your audio isn't so bad that it's distracting whoever's watching your film or your skit. And there are ways to do this. One is use an external audio source other than your camera. Personally, I use this Tascam, what I'm filming with right now. But if you don't have something like that, you can always use your phone and record sound from there. Now you're probably wondering if you need a mic. Ideally, yes, you would have a microphone to get higher quality audio. But if you don't have a mic, that's okay. An easy tip for better audio while using an external audio source is to hide that external audio source within the shot. For example, in this shot right here, you can't tell, but I hid my Tascam within the shot where it was close enough where I could get clean audio. Now you can do the same thing with your phone. But obviously, if you're filming with your phone, you're not going to be able to do this. And yes, obviously having a mic is always better, but if you're just trying to make a film or a skit with what you have, these are some easy things that you can do to get better audio. Now moving on to the wants of equipment. If you're willing to spend a little extra money, or maybe you already have this equipment, these are some great things that you can use. Now, if you're filming by yourself, your shots are probably really still and not have a lot of movement. Of course, you can add movement in post, like a slow push in or out. But if you want to be able to have movement in your shots without a crew, here are two pieces of equipment I highly recommend. The first is a Ronin SC. Now, I personally own one of these and I love using it for filming by myself. I initially bought this gimbal for when I was on shoots so I could get really smooth shots. But one of the really cool things about the Ronin is it has an app that connects to your phone and a feature on it called the tracking feature. Now, this feature is really helpful when you're filming by yourself. Now, basically how it works is you can manually set points for your camera to move to. You can control how long it will take to get from point A to point B and how long it will stay on each point. That's how I got shots like this by myself. Now, it may take some time for you to match the movement of your camera with your own personal movements. Once you get it down, this is a really great piece of equipment to have for incorporating movement in your shots. The second piece of equipment is motorized sliders. Now, I personally don't have one. I have a manual slider that I use on my shoots, but I've seen a lot of filmmakers use a motorized slider as well. These will allow you to get those smooth push in or pull out shots and those smooth shots left to right. Similar to the Ronin ST, you can set different points on your slider and how long it'll take to get to each point. And finally, one piece of equipment that I think is great to have is an external monitor. Now, unfortunately, I don't even have one of these, but I feel like that's why I can say it's a great want for the equipment. So one of the issues that I've been running into when I've been filming by myself is I have to do a lot of test shots to get the right framing, focus, and positioning before I can actually film. This requires me to have to hit record, get to my position, pause, go back, stop the clip, watch the clip just to make sure that I got it right. Whereas if I had an external monitor, I could just keep that monitor nearby and I could check if I was in the right position or if I needed to move. Some monitors even allow you to start recording from the monitor rather than having to manually start recording from your camera. Now here's my final tip. Have fun and just make something. I say this because as creatives, we can overthink our stories and they never get made. The reality of it is that the short film or the skit that you picture in your head isn't always going to be the outcome. But the only way to get better at making short films or making skits is by making them. So even if you're not 100% satisfied with how your film or your skit is coming out, just keep going until you finish. And that way you can learn for the next time you go to make something. And also, it's just a great feeling when you finish a film or a skit and you get to see your idea all put together and finished. So guys, those are some of my tips and tricks on how you can make a short film or a skit by yourself with no cast and no crew. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, and if you liked this video or any of my other videos, make sure you hit subscribe. That way you can see all the videos that I upload in the future. If you have any questions, you can throw those in the comments and let me know if you have anything else that you'd like to see or any additional feedback. Thank you so much for watching my video. Now go out and make something. Stay in and make something. See you next time.